And hello, my fellow nerds out there. It's Oracle Nerd Richie, and welcome back to Our Life Beginning in All Ways. So, last episode we left off with these moments that we were going to do in this episode, and again, just like last time, I'm going to be going from left to right. So let's start off with Wave. The family shopping trip had lasted most of the morning, and you still had to unload everything from the trunk before you could go and enjoy the afternoon. You cradled another bag in your arms as you headed towards your house. It was one of the heavier bags in the grocery store, loaded with fresh apples, ripe tomatoes, a bunch of carrots, and even half of a watermelon. Ma came out of the front door and paused just ahead of you.
It's no trouble.
Need any help with that, Richie? I can bring it the rest of the way if you want me to. Yes, please, it would be helpful. Yes, please, it was just too heavy. No, I've got it. You were doing fine. No, I've got it. You could just imagine. You could just manage to hold it. You eagerly agreed with a nod of your head. You needed someone else to take it. You didn't say anything. You could finish the job yourself, no problem. No, I've got it. Even if it was large, it wasn't really any problem for you. Ma gave you an encouraging grin and rustled her fingers through your brown hair. You set the next bag on the counter. Your older sister began to root around inside for the contents with a sigh. How much is left? Still a few more bags. With a huff and a puff, Elizabeth continued putting away the groceries, and you retreated out of the kitchen before you could become the target of her bad mood.
Be careful.
Careful, Richie. You hadn't been looking where you were going and bumped right into Mom. Almost stepping on her toes to boot. Sorry. I can give you a pass this time, but be sure to watch where you're going. If you run into the wrong person, then you might get your license revoked. She grinned at the bad joke as you continued through the door. Outside, Ma had started organizing what remained and putting back any loose objects that had fallen out during the trip. When you stepped up to the trunk beside her, she took in a big breath of air, and her dress gently swayed around in the breeze.
That's a shame.
It's a shame we had to spend the morning cooped up in that shopping center. It's a beautiful day, don't you think? You tipped your head to the sky, gazing at the clear blue expanse. I wish it was raining. I like it when it's stormy best. Honestly, none of these are... Well, I kind of like it when it's sunny and stuff, but I actually... Okay, so the thing is that you guys probably don't know, but it is actually really foggy out in Rhode Island, and you guys probably don't notice, but I love fog. Foggy weather is my absolute favorite. There's just something atmospheric about it that I love, you know? Anyways, let's just say, days like today are my favorite. Ma smiled at you, her amber eyes glinting with affection. You and your sister are a lot alike in that way, and me too. You gave her a familiar look, but eventually you turned back to help her with the last of the bags. Oh, hi, Cove. You noticed your mom would wave over at Cove, who had just exited his front door and his surfboard propped up under one arm. Let me see, surfboard and wetsuits? Where might you be off to in this beautiful day? Whoa! Okay, he looks really cool. Cove instantly startled, not having realized your family was also out here. Even though your mom was the one who called out, you were the one he looked at. He tried to settle down again. He jogged across the pavement to properly say hello to you and your parents. It was decidedly awkward since Cove had trouble figuring out how close to stand to you. The addition of his unwieldy surfboard made the whole thing seem even clumsier. Careful with that thing, you'll put someone's eye out. The phrase is you'll poke someone's eye out. Mom chuckled and got a whispered reproach from Ma for it. Pam, please, go easy on him. Cove winced. Sorry, Mrs. James. Don't mind her, honey. It's a beautiful day for surfing. I haven't been out on waves in a long time. I'm jealous. Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping to get a few good waves before it gets dark. Hi, Cove. He had relaxed a lot when Ma spoke to him, but the rigidity came back as soon as you said something.
Hey.
Hi, Richie. Cove managed to grin, and it almost felt like you had butterflies in your stomach. Oh, do you want to come hang out there later? You noticed the flush of red on his cheeks. That might have just been from the heat. Oh, yeah, I could do that. Sure, I'll meet you there when we're done. All right, I can't this time. Sure, I'll meet you there when we're done. Cool. When he spoke again, he tried to contain some of the excitement that was clearly ready to burst. It'll be fun. You're not done unloading, right? Can I help? No. This is our job. You go enjoy the beach. Richie can catch up as soon as he's finished here. Alright, I'll see ya. Yeah, bye for now. Cove headed on down to the beach with more skip in his step than normal. It was really cute. He smiled softly at yourself at the thought that you'd be joining him soon. He sure seemed to perk up after you agreed to meet him there. I wonder why that could be. Ma. Now who's giving him a hard time, Lonnie? Shush. It's different. Mom's face broke into an incredulous grin. In what way? I'm being supportive, and he can't hear it. Mom full on laughed at that time.
Lonnie.
You're the worst of us when it comes to this, honestly. I keep trying to warn people, but they don't listen. I only wanted to help. I think it's fair to say he might need it. Meddler, but you have a point. Right? You narrowed your eyes at their teasing, and they simply chuckled conspiratorially. I've never... Oh, conspiratorially. I've never seen that word before. I've never even heard it. Before taking more bags from the trunk and heading inside. Once everything had finally been taken in and put away, you got yourself ready to meet Cove on the beach. Your family had a surfboard around somewhere. You weren't sure where you were going to do. He was surfing and you didn't know how. To be honest, I've never actually surfboarded before. When I was a kid, I used to use a boogie board, but that was about it. I've never actually done surfing before. Honestly, it seems like a lot of fun. I really want to try it sometime. Yeah. Your family had a surfboard around here somewhere. Can I take your board to the beach? Sure, it's in the garage. Just remember to keep the leash on when you're in the water. After finding the board in the back of the garage and getting everything ready, you headed down to the beach.
Have fun.
Have fun, honey. Stay safe. When you arrived at the shore, you were greeted by a crash of waves and soft calls of seagulls. You took in a lungful of the ocean air and felt your peachy skin warm in the sun. You noticed a small setup nearby with a towel and some sunscreen on a bottle of water. It must be Cove's. You spotted Cove himself nearby. He hadn't gone out to sea yet. He was just sitting in the sand at the water's edge, his board propped up beside him. You strolled up beside him. Hey, I'm here. Richie. He looked up at you with a smile and quickly hopped to his feet. I was wondering if you were still coming. You stay inside all day? I don't think so. Sorry you had to wait. You don't have to say that. It's okay. He then cast his eyes out toward the waves. Cove, I'm not that good at surfing. I borrowed this board, but I don't know how to surf. Will you give me some tips? Cove had read up on surfing more than you have, so you knew he'd have some good tips to help you improve. Yeah, let's get started. You tucked your board under your arm, and the two of you ran into the water together. You paddled out to the sea to where the good waves were. The water was cool against your skin.
Nice.
Not too calm, but nothing crazy. It looks perfect today. He smiled at you, and you couldn't help but smile back. You felt totally content. Until Cove kicked the water a little too hard and it inadvertently splashed you. Hey! Sorry. The apology did not come across as especially repentant, as he was practically laughing when he said it. You let it go. You paddled a little further from Cove to get out of the splash zone. With that, Cove started telling you all the tips and tricks on how to stay on the surfboard. He demonstrated both good and bad posture and explained where you need to put your weight. Like this? You wiggled your body so that you were more centered with the board. Cove nodded. Yep, just like that. A little lesson continued and... Okay, so yeah, thing is that I actually do learn pretty quickly, so first option sounds a bit like me. You may not have been entirely sure of yourself before, but that was rapidly changing. You were definitely getting it. Occasionally he reached out and touched you to more directly help you get positioned right. It felt nice. But if you acknowledged you noticed his touch at all, he would instantly pull away. Since you spent so much time working on balance and stable water, you wondered when you'd actually get to catch some waves. You brought it up to Cove and he nodded. Oh. I have a bottle of water with me this time. If you think you're ready, go for it. You'll do great. Alright. With that, you graduated from Cove's class, and the two of you were able to surf together more casually, even if he was still better at it. What an afternoon. The setting sun was visible on the horizon. Every time you would look away, it had sunk a little lower. The beach was darkening, but still pleasantly warm. You knew you should get out of the water before it was completely dark in the sea. You rode one last wave to get back to the beach. There, you picked up your surfboard and gave it a quick once-over. Cove followed behind you to the shore with his board. He put his board in with his other things and grabbed his towel and started drying off. As he ruffled his hair with the towel, you watched the sunset together. The colors were beautiful in the distance, and the shadows around you deepened. There was no need for words between you two, as you both enjoyed the sight for a moment. Cove broke the silence. The waves were good today, I think. Perfect for surfing? Did you really think so, I guess? Yeah, totally. He nodded mildly. You chatted a little more until the conversation truly died out, and all you heard was the rhythmic sound of waves. Then Cove sighed. The day can't be over. Not yet. He scowled into the distance as if the sun exiting the sky was a personal offense. Don't you think it should be longer? Yeah. Cove stood straight up in defiance of the approaching darkness. I'm not gonna go home yet. I want to go somewhere. I don't know. Cove was still dribbling in salt water, so you weren't sure what the alternative was. Wetsuits were fine for the beach and not much else. It wasn't a good idea for him to lug his surfboard around town either. You'll be real cute in that wetsuit wherever you go. Well, I need to call it a night. Yeah, I want to do something too. We should have welcome anywhere soaking wet like this. Come on, you can't give me the option to compliment him and not think I'm gonna say it. Come on. Cove's face and eyes flushed red as he looked down and inspected himself. He crossed his hands over his chest self-consciously. He had been so used to wearing it that Cove hadn't given his current choice of dress any thought. At least that was before you pointed it out to him. Well, You would too, so, Ko's eyes widened when he processed what he just said and awkwardly decided to give up the whole thing. Then he looked down at the shore with wide, shining eyes. There's at least one place that it's always okay to hang out in, no matter what time it is. The park. You nodded. The park was virtually always empty. Even Elizabeth only went over there nowadays. If she was looking for you. How times have changed. You used to be so protective of the place. In fact, the only kid that was there was a chance of running into might be that Jeremy kid again. You brought the idea to Cove and he cringed, but I'm still going. The sun is still there, a little. I'm staying out as long as it is. Well, of course I'll tag along. I literally said I was going to. Okay, let's go. Cove took a minute to put his stuff in order. He made sure to get it all through. Although didn't take much care to shake the sand off. You dealt with your own things. I think I probably took my time. I would take my time. The two of you finished about the same time. As final touch, Cove plucked his glasses off the beach and put them back on his face. He looked more like himself now. He led the way down the beach to the park. It wasn't far, so it didn't take you all that long. The sun still hadn't completely disappeared just yet. When you made your arrival, Cove stuck his surfboard upright in the sand and tossed his towel over top. By now, the two of you were mostly dry. The summer breeze on your skin kept you pleasantly warm. Cove idly went over to the monkey bars and grabbed them, feet flat on the ground, pretending to go across. He had definitely grown in the past few years. You could barely use the monkey bars yourself. There wasn't much space at all between you and the ground. When he got to a bar in the middle, Cove pulled himself up through then sat on top of the bars. His legs dangled off the side of the bar he perched on. You know what, let's join him. Without Cove's height advantage, getting up there was more difficult, but you made it. Oh, my bad. Whoops, my bad, I scrolled back a bit. But you made it. You climbed on the side of the monkey bars and pulled yourself up to the top. You settled yourself in between two of the slates. The skinny metal wasn't the most comfortable thing to sit on, though you enjoyed the height it gave you. Guess what? He smiled broadly and I raised an eyebrow. He's not here. Right, it was true. It was true. There wasn't a single sign of Jeremy. Looks like it was just going to be the two of you tonight. Cove hung his head and groaned dramatically. Your eyes widened when he whipped his head back up.
No way.
I can't believe how dumb my parents are for forcing me to come to this stupid place. You were taken aback and blinked for a second before you realized he was quoting Jeremy. Oh. Ugh, parents don't know anything. You don't have to tease them. That's not really nice. Funny, but not nice. Don't scare me like that. One Jeremy is enough. He chuckled back at you, a mischievous glint in his eye. You looked around. The old park, the streets you knew like the back of your hand, and the beach. These were your stomping grounds. You wondered how Cove actually felt. How much was his joke just a joke? How much was sincere dislike of this place? Moving had never been his choice. Do you actually like this neighborhood? I know you don't think it's dumb. Cove kicked his legs carelessly as they dangled. You smiled softly. I like it here. I really do. It's a nice place. You didn't hesitate. There was no uncertainty. That was genuine opinion. At least one person likes it here. You nodded wordlessly. Well, of course, I'm here after all. You're the best thing in the neighborhood, Cove. You can't just give me that option and not think I'm gonna pick it. Come on. You're the best thing in this neighborhood, Cove. Cove flushed and started kicking his legs wildly like he was running in place. It didn't take long for the day to finally draw to a close. The sun was gone and it was dark. You chatted a while longer, but it was definitely winding down. You chose not to say anything. We better get home. I wish days were longer. I wish this day was longer. His feet kicked out. It made him look like a pouty child. Oh well. Cove sighed. It was time to go home. He hopped down from the monkey bars with a thump and his feet against the ground. You clambered down from the monkey bars yourself. You lowered yourself more slowly than Cove and barely made a sound when your feet reached the ground. Cove grabbed his surfboard and threw his towel around his neck. With his water bottle in hand, he was ready. You both began your trek up the road. It was a quiet night and you didn't run into anyone else. In what felt like no time at all, you had reached your street. As you walked, Cove smiled to himself. It was a soft expression. You couldn't help but wonder what put it there. Everything okay? I just remembered when we were younger, it used to be such a big deal to come home after dark. You could indeed recall. If you got sandy, your parents would have something to say. If you got wet, your parents would have more to say. And if you came home after dark, well, your mom's and his dad better have said it was okay beforehand. You used to need permission for everything. That small comment he made exposed just how much freedom you really had this summer. Cove looked up to the sky, a smile still on his face as you two walked side by side reminiscing. When you came into your houses, you turned to each other. Thanks for today, Richie. Bye. It was nice seeing you. This was definitely an interesting experience. Yep. Thanks for the awesome day. Thanks for the awesome day. Cove waved and you both turned around to your respective houses. Sorry, I thought I heard something, guys. This was pleasant end to the outing, you thought. Okay, so that's one memory. Okay. Next one. Growing. Early one afternoon, you found yourself in the living room with your own family. It was another one of those summer days where it felt too hot to go outside, but it was too uncomfortable to do anything inside either. The air conditioner was cranked up as far as you could negotiate it, but everyone was still being pretty lazy. You, your moms, and sister were lounging around while the TV blared on in the backdrop, ignored by all of you. You specifically were lying spread eagle on the carpet, sitting cross-legged on the floor, perched on one arm of the couch, draped over the coffee table. Okay, that sounds funny to be honest. Honestly, I'd probably be sitting cross-legged on the floor like I am now. You looked out the windows at the backyard. Not that there was anything particular interest to watch. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over. She was lying on her back over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand. I feel terrible. I'm dying in this house and my legs hurt. Mom looked up from the magazine she'd barely been flipping through and frowned, concerned. Could you have straightened them somehow? Elizabeth flailed briefly, then flopped to her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know. It just hurts.
Sweetie.
Oh, sweetheart. Ma got up from a seat to the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She did a light pat on Elizabeth's shoulder sympathetically. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Maybe it's growing pains? You could be taller by next fall. Elizabeth scoffed. She didn't look impressed by Ma's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this. Mom walked over too, leaning against the back of the couch. I need to know, is Elizabeth drawn like a... I get this is supposed to be like a perspective thing, like, is she just drawn closer, to look closer to the player than the parents? I'm honestly not really sure. Kids, they grow up so fast. Soon Elizabeth will have a home of her own, maybe even with a nice husband and some kids if she feels like it. She sniffed loudly and wiped at her eye, but you could tell it was just a bit. You tilted your head. Even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys, it was hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or a husband. She only seemed invested in hanging out with her group of friends and not chasing after boys. Mom must agree with you because she shook her head.
No.
Let's not exaggerate. She's still practically a child. But if you ever do pursue romance, Elizabeth, you can come talk to me about it. Definitely, we're always willing to lend an ear. Elizabeth's features contorted in disgust. No way. I am not talking to my moms about that. Mom's jaw dropped and she gasped with an exaggerated display of shock. Her hands came up to rest against her cheek. Ma only grinned. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all. It really wouldn't be so bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two. I don't, but I can listen anyway. Mom snorted at her own joke while Ma burst into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the amusement because she rolled her eyes and sat up.
Thanks.
I'm going back to my room. I better melt alone, thanks. She strode off towards the staircase, taking the steps two at a time. Your mom stared after her, to then turn to each other with raised eyebrows. Whoops, looks like we scared her off with all that romance talk.
Well?
Oh well, we'll get her next time. You watched them titter with some surprise. Obviously, your mom's liked women. I mean, is it not obvious? I don't know. Usually I change the expression on my little avatar here, but I don't know. I'm feeling kind of lazy today. Obviously, your mom's like women, but you had no idea that Ma liked guys too. Today was the first time you heard her say something like that. Ma, I always thought you only liked ladies. You like guys too? Ma turned to you, happy to bring you to things now that you've spoken up. She smiled and nodded. That's right, I like both. Ma's bisexual. Who knew? But I like your mom most of everyone. She's special. Oh, I just had a thought. Wait, what if devs, if developers of this game, if you're watching this video, what if we got a prequel game where we see like these two girls' story? I want to see what their story was like. Oh, that would have been so cool. Ma's smile turned to all soft in the corners, like it usually did when she looked at her. She pinched Mom's cheek slightly. Mom reached up to cup her hand over Ma's. Even when Ma stopped pulling her cheek, their hands remained clasped together.
You're fantastic.
I'm sorry, I just love the voice acting in this game. Thanks, Lonnie. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you. Aw, Pamela. Ma beamed, then kissed Mom in the cheek she had been pinching before. You thought the moment was very sweet. You cringed. You thought the moment was very sweet. You laughed at their antics. Honestly, I probably would have laughed. I'm actually laughing right now. You chuckled quietly at their little back and forth. They were always saying cutesy stuff like that to each other. Ma looked back at you, letting Mom's hand go with a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you, and Mom followed soon after. I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer just isn't for Elizabeth. In fact, I think that talk might be needed sooner for you. After all, you already have someone, isn't that right? Mom shook her head and elbowed Ma, but it was futile. Meddler. You blushed furiously. You also elbowed her. Ma, I don't have someone. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true. Ma giggled and smiled, no doubt pleased that you admitted it so readily. There's no rush, of course. You can take all the time you need to figure it out what or who you want.
It's okay.
Don't think you have to stick with whatever you come up with right now, either. Life's nice like that. It can change and you can learn. Mom nodded her agreement. The two of us are happy to hear you out, and we may be able to relate better than you think. Still, we won't push the topic, at least most of the time. She gave Ma the weakest scathing look possible while being unable to stop grinning. I'd rather pass on all that. Thanks. I'll think about it.
Wonderful.
Good, that's all we asked. Mama let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realize it was fake. First Elizabeth and now you, Richie? Do you have to grow up? Yes, children tend to do that from time to time. Your parents quickly grew absorbed in their conversation about rearing kids. You took that as your cue to leave, getting up as you could spend some time alone in your room too. They let you go without problem, so you made your way upstairs. You let out a sigh once you stepped into your room. It was just as sweltering in there as it was in the living room, possibly a little warmer. You couldn't even open your window since it was hotter outside, and you just let the AC out. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering condition in the mirror as you passed by it. You thought back to the conversation you'd had downstairs about growing up and all that. After a moment, you stepped a bit closer to the mirror. You stared into it, then turned away from the surface and looked down at yourself. You were definitely growing all right. It was weird thinking about how you were now, in comparison to what you'd been when you were younger. When it came to your body, it was chubby, slender, heavy-set, sort of scrawny. It was some muscle definition nowadays. Yeah, I don't see it in myself. Honestly, I am a wee bit scrawny. I was kind of scrawny, but well, not that scrawny. I was like, now I think about it, I was actually kind of slender. I'm actually kind of slender still right now, which is kind of weird. You shifted to your side, your head still facing forward, continuing your self-evaluation from this viewpoint. At birth, you were assigned. Wait, you were born interest. Wait, what? We can choose? No fucking way. Oh, hell yes. We can actually choose this kind of thing. Let's go. Let's see. At birth, you were assigned male, and your chest was only flat. Your chest was flat, but you thought about it being different. Your chest was flat by birth, but you aimed to have. Jesus Christ. You were assigned male. No, just saying the choices I make in this game don't actually reflect too much about me in real life. Wait, I mean, I'd probably say my chest is still a bit flat. But you thought about it being different. You tried to imagine what it'd be like. Maybe someday you'd make that change. You took a step backwards, finished with your impromptu inspection, and you locked eyes with your reflection, cocking your head to the side, all things considered. You didn't look too bad. You had no idea how to feel. You were simply neutral. You were self-conscious. You just wanted to look different than you did. You thought you looked fantastic. Sure, why not? Be a little narcissistic. You beamed, pleased with what you saw. You even winked for good measure, before chuckling at yourself. You shook your head roughly, putting thoughts of what you were turning into out of your mind. This wasn't the time to focus on such things. You had to find something to do in this heat. You shuffled onto your bed, collapsing into the mattress. Your brow scrunched up in thought. Time passed slowly, and to your annoyance, possible ideas about what to do were few and far between. You weren't sure how long it had been, but eventually you heard your mom call you from downstairs. Richie, there's a call for you. Cove wants you to come over. Is that alright? You perked up at the words. Sitting up on your bed, you yelled back to her immediately. Yeah. You got to your feet and headed downstairs, eager to see your friend. You needed to go downstairs soon anyways, because your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. Oh, doesn't that tell the truth? Like, my stomach is little... Honestly, my bodily clock when it comes to my stomach is kind of odd, because like one day I eat an early lunch and the next day I'm hungry at the exact same time. It's kind of odd. Even though I don't usually eat lunch until like 11 or so, I think. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mom put the phone back in the receiver. She glanced at Ma, leaning her hip against the kitchen counter.
What a pickle.
Well, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves. Ma clicked her tongue in clear disapproval of Mom's words. He's such a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He can just be a bit thoughtless and impulsive. Oh, I know, he's very sweet, but he wants to make it more of a problem. If a stranger or some kid from school was egging Richie on to behave badly, I think we can both agree that he'd do the right thing in the end. But if Cove Holden got into a reckless mood and wanted Richie to be a part of the ride, can we really be certain of what call he'd make then?
Yes.
Yes, I think so. Richie helps Cove settle down. He would have gotten himself in even more trouble without him.
Thanks.
You have a point. Ma just laughed as she turned away, still snorting. Her eyes met yours. She blinked in surprise, then waved at you with an easy grin. Mom looked over, noticing you at the foot of the stairs as well. Oh, I didn't expect you to come down already, Richie. I just wanted to let you know what was happening. You pretended you didn't overhear the conversation. You called Mom out on her comment. I kind of just want to see what happens if we pick the other one, but let's just pretend we didn't overhear it. Yeah, it's okay. I just got here. From the way Mom and Ma exchanged amused glances, you got the feeling that they didn't believe you. Thankfully, they didn't correctly accuse you of lying. Sure. Well, we'll just get out of the way. You and Cove take care. You couldn't help but flush when Ma winked. Mom elbowed her even as a smile tugged on her lips. Honestly, this lady... Your moms whispered amongst themselves as they went down the hall. Eventually, you heard the faint sound of their bedroom door shutting. Now you were alone in the living room, tasked with waiting for Cove. And that was just fine with you. If it hadn't been so hot outside, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. You took a seat at the kitchen counter and settled in for the wait. As expected, there was a knock on the door a few minutes later. When you got up and answered it, your neighbor was standing on the other side. He came in once you stepped aside to let him pass, giving you a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did. With a wave, with a low five, you nudged to his shoulder with a noogie. honestly, I probably would greet my friends like that. Well, of course, come on, with a hug, dude, come on. He stiffened in your arms, then relaxed seconds after. One would think he'd be used to your hugs after all these years. Hey. His voice was cracked as he struggled to say something. You didn't feel worried about that. It was how he usually reacted when you were close by. Cove sighed and wiped his face a bit. You noted the sheen of sweat across his brow. He must be glad to be back in the air-conditioned place, even if he had only had to walk across the street to get there. Is something going on? Why'd you want to come over? I don't want to do anything, not when it's like this. He gestured vaguely to the humid air hanging around. I thought I could at least do nothing with you. You thought that was really sweet. How did you know I was doing nothing? Maybe I had plans. I was thinking the exact same thing, you know, that made sense to you. I was thinking the exact same thing. You grinned and he smiled back, and that was all there was to it. Both of you were on the same page. Have you had lunch yet? I was gonna do it soon. He shook his head.
Not really.
I haven't really felt like eating because of the heat. I probably should have lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Great, we can eat lunch together. Cove nodded, looking content with your suggestion. Okay, cool. As one, you head into the kitchen. You cross your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you should scrounge up for a meal. I don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cold or not cooked? Yeah. After a bit of back and forth, the two of you conclude that you should raid the fridge and cabinet in order to make sandwiches. With that settled, you had plans to decide on the outside layers first. There was a wide variety to choose from since everyone in your house had their own favorites. There was white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grains, gluten-free bread, and pita pockets. Could you take the grain one for me? Sure. You reached for the mixed grains and then made your decision. Honestly, I honestly just prefer regular white bread. Cinnamon swirl bread? Oh, that sounds so good! Let's just go with white bread. You pull out the white bread too, setting both items on the counter. Then you had to decide what main direction the sandwich would go in. Sweeter style sandwich, truly savory style sandwich. Let's go with the savory style. Something savory will make it feel like a real meal. As for specific ingredients, oh wow, we have a lot of ingredients. There's so many good ones. Okay, but I think I'd probably go with ham slices, turkey slices. And some pepper jack. Dude, pepper jack is delicious as hell. You know what, sure, add some lettuce in there, why not? And then you move to the condiments. Mayonnaise? Wait, let me... You know what? Yeah, sure, mayonnaise. And that was everything. You nodded to yourself with quite a hum, satisfied. The two of you bustled around the kitchen, opening and closing things in order to collect everything you needed for your individual sandwiches. You focused intently on assembling your own, for the most part. When you were close to being done, though, you glanced over at your neighbor. Cove was putting his sandwich together delicately, his brows furrowed and tongue sticking out just barely. There were open jars of peanut butter and honey near his plate, as well as a banana peel? What kind of weird-ass sandwich is he making? He was making a peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich on mixed grain bread. He didn't think much of it. I mean, everyone's got their own tastes. It wasn't that surprising or interesting. Curiosity satiated, you turned back to your plate and finished your own creation. By the time you were done, Cove had already cleaned up his workstation. He turned to face you, studying your sandwich briefly. A small smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. You guessed it didn't look inedible to him at least. Done? Yeah.
Cool.
He waited as you quickly returned the ingredients and cleaned a few utensils. Then the two of you collected your respective plates. You both agreed on heading upstairs to hang out in your room. You and Cove entered your bedroom. While balancing your food on the plates, nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. Cove took a seat on the ground, stretching out on the hardwood floor in an attempt to keep it a bit cooler. He immediately took a big bite out of his sandwich and chewed and then hummed happily. The sandwich is really good, at least it's something. At this point, you sat down and stared at your own sandwich. You nodded. You were enjoying yours too. Obviously, you were a pro at making sandwiches. He leaned back on his hands while chewing and glanced around. His every movement was sluggish. Want to do something? He seemed the plan of not doing anything at all had already worn thin, despite the lack of enthusiasm. Like what? He rolled his head back, looking up at the ceiling. What about Hangman? You laughed at the suggestion, but went along with it. Sure, why not? You put your plate to the side and pulled out some markers and scrap paper. As you laid everything on the floor, he scooted back to make more room in front of you. Cove picked up one of the markers in his right hand while keeping a half a sliced sandwich to his left. Can I pick the phrase? Go ahead, I don't mind. He smiled briefly before he bent over the paper and began sketching the hangman frame. Then he stopped, pressing his lips in thought. He tapped the end of his marker against his cheek. You watched silently as Cove looked down at the paper, up at your face, and then onto his side in a loop. His marker kept tapping his cheek the entire time. You raised an eyebrow. He suggested the game and wanted to pick the phrase, but it looked like he didn't actually have anything in mind for it. Finally, he put empty lines on the paper to signify spots for letters. Alright, you can start guessing. You peered over. The secret phrase consisted of 3 words. The first 2 had 3 letters, and the last had 4. Oh, we get to actually play Hangman. This is gonna be fun. You thought hard of what your first guess would be. Enter 1 letter of the alphabet. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna guess maybe Y. Hey, you got one! Nice! After the first round, you were able to take another bite of your sandwich when a thought occurred to you. I wonder if anyone turned off the TV downstairs. The TV was on earlier, but no one was really watching. Then everyone started leaving the living room. I know I didn't turn it off. It might still be on downstairs with no one there. Cove smiled crookedly at that. Oh. Poor show. Playing with no one around to enjoy it. What was it? He squinted off in the middle of the distance, trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama. Cove nodded sleepily, his eyes closed, then opened again with some effort. Can you give any specifics? Maybe I can guess it. Well, you rested your chin in your open palm, groggily thinking as hard as you could. I remember there was a woman with long, blonde hair. I think she was the one solving crimes, like as a detective or something. There were scenes in a police station because someone got arrested. As soon as I say that, I hear freaking sirens outside of where I live. That's hilarious. You lapsed into silence. The both of you thoughtful. Then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined in the laughter anyway. I don't know what that is. Me neither. I just saw it. Oh. Okay. Let's go with O. Good guess. Another round came and went, and Cove grumbled as he readjusted himself. His features were twisted with grimace. I feel so sticky. Ugh, I'm gonna be stuck to this floor forever now. I'll have to charge you rent then. You can be my new roomie if you want. No, I'll peel you off if I have to. Looks like we're both stuck here forever then. I'm sticky too. I'll have to charge you rent then. Yeah, how much? $50. What? I can't afford that. Well, you gotta pay up if you want to stick around. I just made a pun. Oh, I fucking love this game. Cove shook his head at your terrible pun and went back to the game instead of answering further. Then you returned to the game. You. I know the first word's gotta be you, right? Oh! Oh, we got two U's. Alright. I know Hangman basically is the game, but this literally reminds me of that game show. What was it? Wheel of Fortune? Yep, that's right. Cove spoke up once more, catching your attention. He was peering down at the piece of paper between you, his expression thoughtful. You know, Hangman is kind of a creepy game. Why do people come up with it? Why do they play it? Maybe it's what they had instead of real court trials back then. I'll have to look it up later. It's a really old game. No one's sure where it came from. I've always wondered about that. The two of you felt silent as you tried to puzzle out the logical answer. Eventually you decided to just return to the game. A 4-letter word that has... Wait, I think I know exactly what he's saying. I have a feeling. Hear me on this one. Okay, well, let's just get the second letter first. The second word first. A? There we go! Easy. There's another one. By this point, Cove had finished his sandwich. Yours was almost gone too. But now you were getting thirsty. You brought it up to your neighbor. Should we go downstairs to get some drinks? I was thinking that too, but I don't really want to get up. Me neither. You looked over at him, narrowing your eyes with false suspicion. But hey, what happened to you not being able to ever get up again because you were stuck to the floor? That's still true. I mean, we're not actually going, are we? I only thought about it. You rolled your eyes and dropped the issue. Defeated, Cove grinned a little at your disappointment over his victory. Okay. R? Yep, there we go. I already have a feeling I know what the message is. Oh, it's gonna be so adorable. You're really close. C? Yeah. I already know what's gonna happen. T. You're definitely gonna get it. Y'all ready for this? It's adorable! I love it! You are cute. That was the phrase that Cove had spent so long settling on. You stared at it. A few correct letters in, you had a feeling you knew what that phrase was. Still, you felt butterflies in your stomach after seeing it, clear as day on the paper. You took in the words for a moment longer. Then you looked up at Cove. He had trouble meeting your shocked gaze. Oh my god, look at his face. It's so adorable. This is by far the cutest thing I've ever seen. A smile settling awkwardly on his lips. His next words left him in a mumble. It was all I could think of at the time. You cover your face bashfully. You give him a playful shove, still in disbelief. You stayed where you were, unable to move. You fell backwards onto the floor from your sitting position. You wrapped your arms around him. All of these seem like pretty reasonable reactions. You wrapped your arms around him. It was instinct. You leaned over and wrapped your arms around him in a hug. You didn't say anything? No, you're cute. Thank you. I can't believe you. Damn, Cove. You just let out a small squeak. You know, I feel like teasing him. No, you're cute. Cove smiled a bit more, clearly still feeling awkward about the move he pulled. He turned away from you, his cheeks tinted pink. A moment passed between the two of you. Now would be the perfect time to change the subject, but you didn't. He didn't either. Things started feeling a bit more personal all of a sudden. You looked into Cove's ocean eyes and saw yourself staring back. I think you're. I really think you're cute. Seriously? Did you mean it? Do you really think I'm cute? You didn't say anything. Like, you know, I think asking him is probably the better move here. Did you mean it? Do you really think I'm cute? Cove didn't even crack a smile to tell you he was tell you he was joking. He just firmly kept his gaze. Yeah. Finally, he broke the eye contact. I've heard at some point you're supposed to start liking types of people. Guys or girls or whoever.
I don't know.
I haven't really noticed that yet. Nothing's changed. Not in a big way, not for everybody. Maybe I have to grow up more, but at least with... You waited, but he trailed off. He wasn't going to keep talking. You frowned a little disappointed. You wish he had continued with what he was saying. You shook off the strangeness of the situation and tried to be supportive. Maybe you just don't like anybody. Or maybe you like all types of people. That's normal too. Cove seemed to appreciate the thought of if the smile that appeared on his lips was any indication. But the expression was quick to disappear. He peered over at you, looking nervous. Okay, what about you? What kind of guy or person do you like? He winced and seemed to be mentally kicking himself for saying it like that. Like, stupid, stupid, stupid. You considered his question carefully. Did you know who or what you liked? When I was 13, I was actually straight. Because the thing is that before I became a romantic asexual, I was actually straight at first. Like, I was just a normal straight guy back then. Not gonna lie. But I had to consider it a lot, and after a lot of thinking, I considered a lot of thinking as of, I'd probably say like maybe probably like a few months ago. I don't remember, but I just had to like think about like what I really felt that at the time, you know. And like when I was 13, I was still technically a straight male. I knew about other sexualities at the time, but I didn't really consider myself that way. I considered myself straight back then. But like nowadays, after doing a lot of thinking, I figured out what I am, and I'm happy and I'm proud about it. You were starting to have a physical attraction in a general way. You only seem to feel physical attraction in specific cases, situations. So the second choice, that's a demi-romantic. I want to say that's demi-romantic, right? Or like that's like demi, I think. You didn't have a physical interest in other people. I think that's ace. You didn't think you could tell if you had interest in people physically. There was only one person who you'd ever had those kinds of feelings for. Like some of these choices, a few of these choices scream like demisexual, but two of them scream like asexual. Cause I myself am asexual, but like I'm still trying to figure out which asexual specifically I am, cause there are many different types of it. I mean, there's only one person you'd ever have those kinds of feelings for. There's not. Oh. Oh wait. The other one was. Oh yeah, the other one was intimate. Okay, wait. Oh, okay. I can go back. Okay, cool. You didn't have a physical interest in other people. Yeah, I think that sounds a little like me. You only seem to feel romantic attraction in specific cases or situations. You're... I don't know. Maybe I actually am demi. I don't know. Maybe I have to think about this a bit more for myself. And Oh my god, I just realized I've been recording for about an hour. Jeez. Time flies fast, don't it? Um let's just go with the second one. But specifically when it came down to how you felt towards boys, but you hadn't thought about being with a guy, you weren't physically interested. You generally weren't interested in guys, but there were special exceptions. Hmm. You weren't physically interested, but you'd be happy to have a romantic relationship with a guy. You generally weren't interested in guys, but there were special exceptions. It's one of these two. I don't really know. Well, since I'm trying to make my character as reflective of me as possible, um, let's just go with the. I think I'd probably go with the third one. The third one sounds a little like me. And how you felt towards girls. You weren't interested. Kiyomi naine. uh, you found them attractive. You thought you'd be happy with a girl someday. You weren't physically interested, but you'd be happy to have a romantic relationship with a girl. I guess for people who aren't exclusively male or female. Wow, this game really goes in deep with gender identities, doesn't it? I was actually not expecting this when I was going into this game blind. That was, and yes, for most of you who didn't know, some of the games I play, I usually don't go into blind, but most of the time I do because I really want to be surprised. You found them attractive, but you hadn't thought about being anyone who's not someone non-binary. You found them attractive, and you thought you'd be happy with someone. You weren't physically interested, but you'd be happy to have a romantic relationship with someone non-binary. Right? But there were some special exceptions. The third one. You returned your attention to Cove. He was waiting patiently for your response. You explained. Of course, it's good to explain how you feel. He listened intently, taking in every word as you tried to convey how you felt. He definitely perked up a bit when you mentioned having some interest in romantic relationships. Then he scratched the back of his head, sheepish. I'm not really sure how we ended up talking about all this when we started out just playing Hangman. But it was good, I think. I think so too. Cove chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. So, have you written anything new recently? Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you brought it up. The conversation took on a later turn after that, and it felt like you got closer after that afternoon. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the air cooled down a bit as a result. You pulled yourself off the floor, and as did Cove, with some minor complaint. You both stretched your arms, groaning, and yawned into your hands. You glanced out the window briefly, taking in the soft reds and pinks and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow you had made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. Cove turned towards you, motioning towards your window with his chin. Want to go outside? It might be better out there than it is here now. Sounds good. I could really use some fresh air. The two of you took your time heading downstairs. You stopped briefly to grab a drink of water, then continued on your way. You stepped outside, and one after the other, your destination being in the familiar hills behind your house. This time of day, it was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling but stubbornly hanging in there. You felt the breeze cool your heated skin and relax your shoulders. Cove closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it out here. You do? That's surprising, you said jokingly. Your opinion sure has changed since you were first on this hill. You quietly enjoyed the moment. I do too. Cove smiled. Tendrils of his hair danced in the wind. A beat passed, but his gaze didn't stray from your own. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke up again. I'm glad I met you, Richie. You're really important to me, you know. You blushed at the statement. I feel the same. That's so nice of you to say. You silently smiled. You're being too sweet. You're special to me, Cove. Come on, wait. Bro, dude, who's supposed to... Main character, who's also supposed to be me. Tell him how you feel, dude. Wait, but then, ain't I just telling myself that? Okay, see, this is the thing when you don't have, like, an instinctual, like, visual of the main character. Because, like, you don't know if they're actually you. But then again, the main character is supposed to be, like, customizable, so, like, I suppose it makes sense. You know, you're special to me, Cove. Your voice came out equally delicate. From the way his features brightened, though, you knew he heard you. Then Cove reached over and held your hand without another word. Even as the sun disappeared completely from the sky, and the sky darkened, you and Cove remained side by side for as long as you possibly could. Oh, that was probably one of the sweetest memories I've ever seen in any game. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here for now, guys. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment what you think, share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye.
You say you wanna try, but you never